Good day and welcome. You're watching St. Martin NEWSDESK, where we bring you the latest and most important stories around the island and beyond. With your anchor crew, Alston Lawrence, Glenda York, Tiziana Hart, and Mizzy with the Sunshine Report. This broadcast is brought to you by TV15 and proudly produced by Great Bay Media Studios in Phillipsburg, St. Martin. And now, let's jump straight into today's top headlines.
GEBE explains fuel clause increase. GEBE is providing additional clarification to customers regarding the fuel clause reflected on electricity bills issued in May. The utility company says the charge is not new and that the calculation method has remained unchanged for more than 15 years as part of the government-approved tariff structure. According to GEBE, St. Martin depends heavily on imported fuel to generate electricity, meaning fluctuations in global fuel prices directly affect production costs. The company explained that bills issued in May cover electricity consumed during the April to May billing period, with fuel costs from April being reflected retroactively on those invoices. GEBE says the increase to approximately 45 cents per kilowatt hour was driven by higher fuel costs and was not the result of a tariff adjustment or management decision. The utility is encouraging customers with billing concerns to contact its customer care department for a review or payment arrangement. It also reminds residents that support programs remain available for qualifying households and seniors. Meanwhile, GEBE is urging customers to conserve energy where possible and says it remains committed to providing reliable utility services while monitoring developments in the global fuel market. The CFT warns of growing financial risks. The Board of Financial Supervision, known as the CFT, is warning that major risk at government-owned companies and social security funds could place increasing pressure on St. Martin's public finances. According to the CFT, several state-owned entities, including telecommunications provider Telem, utility company GEBE, and Postal Services St. Martin face financial challenges and governance concerns. The board says the country urgently needs a clear strategy to improve sustainability, strengthen oversight, and address risk before they become more severe. The CFT is also sounding the alarm over healthcare and pension funding. It says healthcare funds managed by SZV are losing roughly 35 million guilders annually, with accumulated deficits now approaching 500 million guilders. Those losses have largely been covered by reserves from other funds, including the AOV Pension Fund, but the CFT warns those reserves could be depleted within a few years. The board is urging government to stay on track with plans for general health insurance, tax reforms, and improved revenue collection while ensuring the 2027 budget is completed on time to address these growing financial challenges. USM welcomes Caribbean author. The University of St. Martin will welcome Caribbean author and researcher Delno L.A. Trump to its Pond Island campus on Monday, June 1st. During the visit, Trump will present copies of his work to the USM Library, adding to the university's growing collection of Caribbean literature, regional scholarship, and educational resources for students and faculty. USM says the visit supports its wider mission to connect students and the academic community with Caribbean writers, researchers, and professionals whose work helps preserve and explore regional identity, culture, and history. The university also sees the visit as part of its ongoing commitment to strengthen academic and cultural exchange across the Caribbean, while encouraging greater appreciation for Caribbean voices and storytelling in higher education. USM's management team, faculty, staff, and students extended a warm welcome to Trump and thanked him for his contribution to regional scholarship and Caribbean literary development.
Hello, my people. My name is Glenda York of Sit, Sip, and Chat and Moms in Paradise podcast. You can find us on TV 15 St. Martin, TVC St. Kitts, and on YouTube. Reporting from GEBE Media Studios in St. Martin, your NEWSDESK feature story is coming up. But first, here is Mizzy with the Sunshine Report.
Hey there, it's Mizzy with the Sunshine Report, straight out of Sunshine City, St. Martin, bringing you the warmth and the sunshine you need to kickstart your day. So let's dive into the forecast and see how the skies are treating us.
You could talk to your family, talk to your friends. Affordability and convenience. Community connection, that makes sense. Reliability with experience. Hey, for every life, every adventure. Number one provider, they got ya. We tell them your data is always on. You can opt out whenever you want. Tell them we always on. For every moment when you want more. Tell them we always on. Stay connected when you want the road. Control my data, yeah, yeah, yeah. Always connected every time, everywhere. Money low, but I never fair. I know, tell them is there. Connectivity, that's what I like. Flexibility, that's what I like. Reliability, that's what I like. Tell them, sign me up for life. Tell them we always on. For every moment when you want more. Come tell them we always on. Stay connected when you want to go. Come tell them we always on. For every moment when you want more. Tell them we always on. Stay connected when you want to road.
Stay connected to the best of local and Caribbean content anywhere, anytime with the TVC Plus app, the official app of TVC Channel 40. With the TVC Plus app, you can watch TVC Channel 40 live, catch every episode of your favorite shows on demand, watch exclusive pay-per-view content, listen to Voice of the Caribbean radio, and watch and read SKN Newsline. The TVC Plus app is available on all your devices. On the Google Play Store, search TVC and the plus sign. In the Apple App Store, type the words TVC Plus. And we're also available on the Amazon App Store for Fire TV and Fire Stick devices. Search the words TVC Plus. Download today and take TVC Channel 40 wherever you go.
All right, don't miss NEWSDESK. Weekdays at 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. on TVC. St. Kitts to the world, now streaming everywhere. IGY Marinas earn blue flag. Two IGY Marinas in Simpson Bay have received the internationally recognized Blue Flag Eco Label, marking a major milestone for sustainable tourism and marine operations on St. Martin. IGY Simpson Bay Marina and IGY Yacht Club Ile del Sol Marina were awarded the certification during a ceremony in late May. The Blue Flag program is one of the world's most respected voluntary eco-labels for beaches, marinas, and sustainable tourism operators. Locally, the program is operated by EPIC St. Martin Foundation under the international oversight of the Foundation for Environmental Education. The certification recognizes locations that meet strict standards for environmental management, education, safety, and accessibility. IGY says the award reflects its commitment to responsible marine operations, protecting Simpson Bay's natural environment, and improving the visitor experience. EPIC noted that Ile del Sol was St. Martin's first Blue Flag site back in 2008. Before Hurricane Irma and the pandemic interrupted local eco-label programs. Simpson Bay Marina is receiving the certification for the first time. IGY officials say the recognition reinforces the company's wider commitment to sustainability, operational excellence, and responsible marine stewardship across the region. Traditional games bring generations together. The Play Like We Used To initiative brought seniors, children, parents, and community members together this past weekend for a cultural experience built around traditional Caribbean games, storytelling, and shared experiences and memories. Organized by Julia Grigg, the initiative was designed to reconnect young people with the outdoor play, clapping rhymes, riddles, and cultural traditions that once shaped Caribbean childhood. It also gave seniors an important role as knowledge bearers, allowing them to share lived experiences and childhood memories with the next generation. The event was supported by Het Cultuurfonds Caribisch Gebied and the St. Martin Senior Citizens Recreational Foundation, which helped seniors participate and enjoy the day alongside children and families. Greg said the project was inspired by a desire to bridge generational gaps and preserve traditions that are slowly disappearing in today's technology-driven world. Throughout the day, participants took part in traditional games, storytelling, and interactive activities that promoted movement, laughter, cultural pride, and community connection. The initiative serves as a reminder that culture is not only preserved in books and archives, but also through play, storytelling, and the passing of memories from one generation to the next. French Quarter marks Emancipation anniversary. The Old House in French Quarter hosted the 178th anniversary of the abolition of slavery on Thursday under the theme Years After Emancipation, the Making of a Country. The commemoration opened with the blowing of the conch shell, followed by a presentation from members of the Junior Territorial Council on the sugarcane rollers once used by enslaved people to crush cane near the Old House. Speakers reflected on French Quarter's history, resilience, and responsibility to preserve ancestral memory. District Council Representative Agnes Alexander said emancipation was not the end of the journey, but the beginning of a people, an identity, a nation built on courage, unity, and hope. President Louis Mussington described the Old House as a silent witness to pain, resistance, courage, and survival. He said the community has a duty to pass this history to younger generations, not to reopen wounds, but to teach the truth and build a stronger foundation. The ceremony included wreath laying, a minute of silence, cultural presentations, music, readings, and a closing dance performed by folkloric group Grain D'Or.
Hey there, I'm Venicia Herbert, and welcome to the Community Billboard. This is your space where the people, places, and heartbeat of the St. Martin community get to speak for themselves. Whether it's an event worth showing up for, a business worth knowing about, or a cause worth caring about, you'll hear it right here. So, settle in, because what's coming up next just might be exactly what you've been looking for. Welcome to the NEWSDESK Community Billboard. To be part of our mailing list, send an email to newsdesksxm@gmail.com.
Let's put everything on the table. People always give their opinion, and you can either take it or crunch it. Let them judge. We give in to the most irresistible flavor. We devour every nugget that falls in our hands, especially when it's our crunchy fried chicken. And let the crumbs fly if needed. Let them keep judging. We'll keep indulging. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
You could talk to your family, talk to your friends. Affordability and convenience. Community connection, that makes sense. Reliability with experience. Hey, for every love, every adventure. Number one provider, they got ya. We tell them your data is always on. You can opt out whenever you want. Tell them we always on. For every moment when you want more. Tell them we always on. Stay connected when you want the road. Control my data, yeah, yeah, yeah. Always connected every time, everywhere. Money low, but I never fair. I know, tell them it's there. Connectivity, that's what I like. Flexibility, that's what I like. Reliability, that's what I like. Tell them, sign me up for life. Tell them we always on. For every moment when you want more. Come tell them we always on. Stay connected when you want to go. Come tell them we always on. For every moment when you want more. Tell them we always on. Stay connected when you want to roll.
Before we wrap up, we take a moment each day to check in with our neighbors across the region. There's always a story worth paying attention to. Here's today's regional headline.
Saba names new island governor. Jocelyn Livingstone will become the new island governor of Saba as of July 1st, 2026. Livingstone, who was born on Saba, was nominated for appointment by State Secretary Van den Berg of Kingdom Relations and Effective Government. The nomination was made in the Council of Ministers. The 57-year-old brings years of experience in public safety, border protection, and maritime security. From 2023 to early 2026, he served as Director of the Immigration and Border Protection Service on St. Martin. Before that, he headed the Dutch Caribbean Coast Guard support post on St. Martin from 2018 to 2023, and previously had a senior safety and security role at the St. Martin Harbour. Livingstone began his career after completing police training with the Netherlands Antilles Police Corps and has followed several leadership and management training programs throughout his career. He succeeds outgoing Island Governor Jonathan Johnson, who is stepping down after 18 years of service. Johnson was recently recognized by the CFT for his contribution to Saba's financial management and administrative stability.
Welcome back. Each day we take a moment to go beyond the headlines and look deeper into the issues, people, and conversations shaping life here on St. Martin. Welcome to today's NEWSDESK feature. The
removal of VSR Minister Richinel Brug was not just another no-confidence vote. It was a political rupture carried live before the country with Parliament split almost exactly down the middle, 8 votes in favor, 7 against, and several MPs openly saying the motion had little to do with Brug's performance as a minister. On Friday, Parliament passed the motion submitted by URSM MP Christopher Waver, stating that Brug no longer enjoyed the confidence of Parliament and should make his position available to the governor. The motion argued that the relationship between Brug and the URSM, the party that nominated him, had deteriorated to the point where continuing collaboration in the governing coalition was no longer tenable. But what made this debate unusual was what the motion also said. It stated that the matter was political and functional in nature, not a judgment on Brug's personal or professional conduct. That distinction shaped the entire debate. Supporters of the motion argued that the coalition could no longer function under the current circumstances. Democratic Party MP Sarah Westcott-Williams told Brug directly that the odds were against him politically and that the motion had nothing to do with his performance. She said the situation inside the coalition had become unworkable and could not continue as it was. PFP MP Rayon Peterson, who also voted in favor, said what began as an internal party issue had become a broader government problem. His position was that if there is no trust, it becomes difficult for the minister to continue. But on the other side, MPs opposing the motion said Parliament was being asked to remove a working minister without a clear performance-based case. MP Omar Otley said he saw no substantiation to send Brug home, pointing out that no illegal activity had been proven. MP Ardwell Arian said he had no issue with motions of no confidence in principle, but argued that such motions must be justified. MP Francisco La Cruz praised Brug's work ethic, saying the word that came to mind was grit. Now, MP Linda Lewis went further, calling the situation political retaliation and saying URSM MP Christopher Waver should resign so Brug could return to his elected seat in Parliament. Lewis argued that Brug was elected by the people and that his decision to become minister opened the door for others to enter Parliament. That point speaks to one of the deeper tensions in this case. Brug was not simply a technocratic minister appointed from outside politics. He was one of URSM's elected figures. And during his emotional defense, he questioned whether party boards should have the power to move against elected representatives who later serve as ministers. Brug told Parliament he entered politics to serve St. Martin, not to disgrace his family or contribute to any image of corruption. He said he stood on the side of justice and righteousness even if he had to stand alone. He also criticized the motion, saying it had no substance and was not worth the value of toilet paper. Still, the URSM board has presented a very different picture. In a detailed letter, the party leadership said its concerns were based on what it described as signed agreements, internal correspondence, tender documents, payment records, and legal advice. The board alleged the sequence of events involving contracts connected to the minister's chief of staff, warnings about possible conflict of interest, and concerns linked to Article 54 of the LMA. According to the board, the relationship with Brug had broken down beyond repair, and the party no longer had the trust needed for him to continue as Minister of Public Health, Social Development, and Labor. So the country is left with two competing narratives. One says this was a necessary political intervention to protect coalition stability. The other says this was a politically driven removal of a minister whose performance was not necessarily or seriously challenged. And somewhere between those two narratives lies the real question for St. Martin. What standard should be used to remove a minister? Is loss of party confidence enough? Is coalition dysfunction enough? Or should Parliament require a clearer public case based on performance, legality, or proven misconduct? The vote may be over, but the precedent remains, because if ministers can fall primarily because their party relationship collapses, then future ministers may answer not only to Parliament and the people, but also to party boards operating behind the scenes. That is why this moment matters beyond Richinel Brug. It touches the balance between elected power, party discipline, ministerial responsibility, and public trust. Brug says he will leave with his head held high and continue serving the people of St. Martin. But Parliament's narrow vote leaves the country with a wider political question. Did this motion restore stability? Or did it just expose how fragile that stability really is?
That's all the time we have for today's edition of St. Martin News Desk. Thank you so much for joining us. Remember, new episodes premiere every weekday at 8 a.m. on TV15 and across all our social media platforms. From all of us here at News Desk, we wish you a fantastic week ahead. Until next time, stay friendly, St. Martin.